Has anyone seen this movie? No, not that movie, silly. This movie, the absolutely horrifying 2006 psychological thriller called Bug. It was horrifying, but in my opinion, really, really good. Now, trigger warning if you need one of those, and a spoiler alert because I think I have to spoil this entire movie to kind of get across the fact that it's a really, really good movie. If you're considering watching it, I say yes. Movies nowadays are just completely overdone and not how they used to be. To me, what makes a good horror movie is something that feels realistic and at times maybe relatable, or at least you can understand how and why these characters end up where they do. So let me explain the movie. A woman falls victim to an abusive partner, hides out in a motel, and on his release from jail, pays her a visit. Some stuff happens in between. Then her and her friend, who also bring along another friend, head back to the motel to party. After some conversation and the woman also being terrified of her ex coming back to the motel, the man stays and sleeps over. The friend eventually leaves and they slowly find comfort in one another, and he stays even longer. One night they're sleeping in bed together and the man starts to scratch at his skin and talk about how there's bugs in the bed. The way time moves in this movie feels really, really strange. They've only known each other for a small period of time, yet they're completely attached to one another, and this man decides to reveal that he actually has people coming after him, that these people are listening in on them and he doesn't want to put her in danger. Yeah, lo and behold, this man is a schizophrenic. There are no bugs in the bed, and no one but his caretaker are actually after him. A lot of gruesome stuff happens in between, and they're not afraid to show it. Like, some of the gore I had to look away from, like cutting into their skin to get the bugs out, wrapping up the motel in foil to make sure that the bugs can't get in or out. But the main takeaway is that, despite knowing each other for a day or so, the woman, whose name is Agnes, completely believes Peter, the schizophrenic. In the end, they wrap up an entire series of events and stories in their head, which explains why they have been led to one another. They then talk about how they essentially need to die for the sake of themselves and society. In the end, they light themselves on fire and they die. So, I understand that this is somewhat outdated. There's a back and forth about whether or not using mental illness as a horror trope is ethical. That's not what I'm here to discuss. With the state of movies now, most rely on shock factor or, I don't know, whatever this is. But how about a woman who'd rather go crazy than be alone? At moments, this movie makes you feel unsure about whether or not you should believe the protagonists. Are we supposed to worry about the abusive ex-husband and take comfort in the fact that Peter could protect Agnes? See, this is what I love about a good horror movie. A simple storyline. What's scarier than not being able to trust your own brain? Now, to me, something that makes a good horror movie, or just a good movie in general, is leaving feeling some kind of way about it. Whether that's being uncomfortable, happy, sad. I mean, I definitely didn't feel happy watching this movie. I felt like I was taking some sort of drug or something like that. Even going back to edit this video, looking at the trailer and the movie poster for it, it made me feel uncomfortable. There aren't a lot of movies that I can say I never want to watch again, or at least finish the movie and say I never want to watch again, but simultaneously I also do want to watch it again. It's a very bizarre feeling, but that's how I felt about Bug. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Should you go and watch this movie? I say yes. Even though I have completely spoiled it for you, I still think it is an interesting watch. Something about these old school horror movies as well makes me feel completely nostalgic, the way that it's filmed in the cinematography. If you've watched this movie or you have any opinions on this movie, let me know down below. This is definitely an underrated gem, and it has now been discovered by you watching this video. So go give it a watch and let me know what you think down below.